Hello and welcome to another episode of Learning Excel through a live project. In today's episode, we are going to learn about how to organize your tabular data as groups as well as implement subtotal based on any field you like. So let us take our expense tracker example and implement a day-wise total as well as a month-wise total and also learn how to structure your data according to a group. Let us jump directly to the course. Here is our expense tracker in which we have entered all the day-to-day expenses according to the day, and we have our payment mode and the amount we have paid. And we also have one more field called year month, which is nothing else but a concatenated string value of the year number and the month number. By the day progress, you will be expanding this table to multiple rows. It may go into thousands. You want a facility by which you can group data according to either month or based on date. The best way to do is group it according to the month. First, let us see how we can group it according to the month. I am going to implement one row above for every month, and I'm just going to put it wherever I like. Let me just put it as January 2024. Okay, so I don't need this color. Let me change it to no fill. Similarly, at the end of February, I'm going to add another one, 24. Then we put it in the same structure. Okay, like this for every month, I'm going to insert a header so that we can easily understand. Now, I can select from row number 4 to row number 31 and I can group it. How can I do it? I can go to the data menu called and go to the menu called outline and select group. Similarly, if I go to the February, let me just split for March. I say March 24 and let me just format it the same way. Now I want to group February also. So I can go to the data, outline and group. Now if you notice there is one more button array has been created as the far left side of the Excel sheet with 1 and 2. So if I press 1, what it will do is like it will collate everything and make it as a simple looking Excel sheet. If you want to see all the data in January 2024, you can click and you can expand it. And similarly, if I want it for February, I can do this. So one thing you might have noticed is for January 2024, the expandable icon, the expand button is coming in the February row. So why it is so? We can correct that also. First, let me expand everything and then let me remove this grouping for now. We will redo it again. I'm going to the data again. I'm selecting all the rows and say ungroup. So I ungrouped it. So the option for bringing the expand button above, that is in January 24, is you just go to the outline and use this menu called outline additional options and remove the summary rows below detail and say OK. Now, if you are going to January and select everything and say to group, your button will come in the same row as this January 24 is defined. Now I can group it. Now if I'm going for one, so you have January 24 as one heading and February 24 as another heading. And if you expand it, you will see all the data. Now, for a table which is having an amount field, is there any shortcut to make this kind of a grouping instead of creating one row above and selecting all the rows and making it a subgroup, everything? No, there is yet another way available. If you are having a numeric value as any one of the column and you are able to find a subtotal of it. So let me just revert back all these things. Let me select all and say ungroup. I ungrouped everything and I don't need this heading also. Let me delete it. I have one for March. I deleted all these things. The easiest way is to go to the outline once again and implement a subtotal. So in the subtotal, let me explain step by step of how we can implement the subtotal. The first thing what you need to do is you need to select based on which field you want to create a subtotal. So you can create a subtotal based on any data which is repeating. So if you are going to create a subtotal based on serial number, that is of no use because serial number is a unique value for each and every row. But whereas when it is coming for date, for the same date you might have done yeah, too many transactions, one or more transactions. And when it is coming for year and month, you have so many transactions which are done for a particular month. So can you do it for other fields like expense head, payment mode, and other thing? Yes, you can do, provided your data is sorted according to the payment mode. So for me, I have the date available in a sorted order as well as the year month also is available in a sorted order. Let me just first let us look at what we can do with the date. So I have selected the date and then we need to select on which field you want to find the subtotal. So can we get a subtotal based on date? Yes, we can because date is a numeric field, but that is not relevant for us. So the only field which is more relevant for us to arrive at the subtotal is amount. So then let me see, as soon as I click, so Excel will automatically create a grouping as well as it will create a subtotal for every day. Let me just minimize these things so that we can view everything in one page. So for the 1st of January 2024, it is we have two transactions, $950 and $5. So it has given a total of $955. And similarly for every day, it will identify the subtotal. Okay. This will be looking very complex because if you are doing it for 1 year, so you are having 365 days, and we don't need to find the subtotal for all the 365 days. But it is appropriate if you are finding the subtotal per month. Let us see how to remove it. So I'm going to go here, again going to subtotal and remove all. So all the subtotals which were created will be removed. So if I have to create a subtotal for year month, then I can simply go again, go to outline, go to subtotal and select at each change in field to year month, and I'm leaving it to sum. So you can use the subtotal, I mean, you can use a subtotal for sum, count, average, max, minimum, everything. For now, let us go to sum, and the field which I'm going to do the subtotal is amount. I'm going to do that, and few more options are available. So if you want to print for every month, so you can create a page break between each group, and you can create a summary below data also. So let's just see that. So if it is summary below data, it will group everything and give the subtotal below. And if you are not selecting the summary below data, then your total will be on the top of that group. So you have everything, and if I select two, so it will give a nice presentation where all the data are grouped, and you are having a subtotal for every month, and whatever month you want to see, you can expand it and you can see that. And if you don't need anything, if you don't need that grouping to be opened, you can close it. And one more benefit, it gives a grand total too. Now you may ask a question: when you can easily group your data and create a collapsible summary using the subtotal function, why do you need to use the group function? So the answer is, you can use the subgroup function, subtotal function, with some numeric value, or you can use it with count or anything. But if you want to represent your data in a more structured way with other values, non-numeric values and other thing, you may need to use the group function. Let me take an example of a large data set. I have 500 records of some fictitious first name and last name from United States. So now what I want to structure all these things to represent it to my management based on the state which they belong to. So one easy way is there. I can go to the outline, I can go to the subtotal, and I will select at each change of each state, for example, and I will use some simple count function, and I will use it for state and summary data below data. Yeah, this gives me one easy way. If I want to represent it in a more structured way, what I will do is I will add one row here and call it as, maybe as you like it, state AK. Let me just state AK, and then I will here state AR. Like that I will make it. And then what I will do, I will select and go for data and go for group and group it. So only one thing I will do is I will go to change and remove the summary rows below the details, and I will do like this. Okay. Now maybe we can do it for the next thing also to look more good. Okay. Now if I collapse, it will give a better picture. You can format it with different color or anything you want. You can do it. Now I have made this grouping based on rows. So can you do everything based on column? Yes, you can. So if I have to group it, all these columns, and I go for group, then it will group here. So maybe you can use this if you want to, if you have a large set of data with so many number of columns or so many number of rows. If you want to present it with minimal data available when user is opening it, and only if they want to expand it, you can use this grouping feature, which will be very beneficial for us. Okay, so today's video is going to be too small, and in tomorrow's video what we will do is, like, we will learn about how to structure your data or how to structure your sheet and print it in a proper way, including headers, footers, page number, and all those things. Let's see you tomorrow. And again, I request you all to provide your support by subscribing to the channel and liking the channel and sharing it among your friends. And please feel free to provide your comments, which will be answered personally by me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.